This is my perimenopause journey, and the reason why I'm sharing this is because I had a really rough time with it, and I noticed at the time there wasn't a lot of help, and not many people knew about it. I knew about menopause, but I didn't know there was such a thing as perimenopause. I also knew that menopause happened around 52 years of age, and when I started to get symptoms, I was around 38. So menopause wasn't even in my mind. The symptoms that I started to have was my cycle started to go strange. Not necessarily at first the timing, it was more the consistency of the period, and what it looked like and felt like. And then I got sore boobs. I started to have trouble sleeping. I'd be fine falling asleep, but I would just wake up at about 2 o'clock in the morning and would not be able to get back to sleep. I'd be wide awake. I'd have to get up and be awake for about 2 hours and then go back to bed again. And even then I would struggle to sleep. I noticed that I got more depressed, but in a strange way. It wasn't like a kind of depression I'd had before. I've had depression my whole life. I've been in and out of it, and I usually use meditation to help myself, but I wasn't able to help myself with this one. The depression was different in that there was so much apathy. I just couldn't be bothered to do anything, to get out of bed, to move. It wasn't like I felt down and sorry and sad for myself and like I just didn't want to be. It was more like just apathy. There was just no motivation for anything. And then I also had terrible brain fog. So I have a job where we have a lot of deadlines all the time, and we've got to hit those deadlines, and it's go, go, go. And I'd sit down on my computer and I'd be like, I can't even make a decision. I can't move, I can't function. Eventually, after a while, I had to phone my boss and say, I need time off work. I need like a week off because I can't understand, I can't think, I don't know what's happening with my feelings, I'm all over the place. And luckily, I'd been there a long time and I had never done that sort of thing. So my boss was like, take the time, do what you need. And then I started also to develop anxiety, terrible anxiety. I'd never had anxiety before in my whole life. I didn't even know what anxiety was. I only knew by someone's description, but I didn't know the feeling. And it got so bad for me. In this time, I was seeing a lot of doctors because I couldn't understand what was going on for me. The exhaustion and the fatigue was so bad that I would go for a walk, like a 5K walk. I'd force myself because I used to be a runner. I used to run regularly, but I couldn't run. I was too tired. And then I started to walk try to do 5Ks, but while I was walking, I would look at patches of grass and think, I wonder if I should just go and sleep there for a little while, because I was that tired that I thought even if I could sleep for 2 minutes, I think it's going to recharge me enough to get back to bed. To get back to home where I was going. So I thought, that is not normal. So the doctors did all sorts of tests. I had blood tests. I even had a chest x-ray. My migraines and headaches had gotten so bad. I had an MRI because I was like, am I like, have I got a tumor or something, because the migraines are so bad. But then also because of the brain fog and not remembering things and keep saying the wrong thing, I thought maybe I had like early onset dementia. I thought I had bipolar. I was tested for everything. So I do see a psychiatrist for ADHD, and I have seen the same psychiatrist for the past 12 years. And then one day I went to him, I'm like, I think I've got like bipolar or something like that, because something, is not right. Anyway, he said, I don't think you do. I've known you for long enough, but let's do a test anyway. So he did this test, like asking questions, and he said, you're definitely not bipolar. So I was like, what is going on with me? At the same time, I was saying to him, hey, I've got these terrible symptoms of anxiety, but because he had treated me for so long and I'd never had anxiety, he was just like, let's see how you go next time. And the doctors, the GPs were saying the same thing. Eventually, I did find a GP who was a hormone specialist. Well, I saw a male doctor, and he said, I think you need to see the menopause specialist GP. So I went to her, and she said, oh, yes, definitely. This is definitely perimenopause. And that's when I first learned. But this was 2 years. It took me 2 years to find this doctor. So for 2 years, I had this apathy, this depression, these headaches, these sore boobs, this strange period, like so many of these weird, itchy ears. Like itchy ears that were so itchy, my husband would wake me up at night because I was scratching in my ears in my sleep. And he'd say, hey, can you stop doing that? But scratching. I got infections so bad that I ended up in hospital. And the infection had moved all the way across my face. They thought I was going to get nerve damage and everything. Like it was really that bad. Like there's strange symptoms with perimenopause. Also dryness everywhere, the dryness of the skin, dryness of the vagina area, obviously. And then you also have like your hair starts drying, your hair starts changing, everything. Like there's so many changes. The changes in the weight as well, that was another symptoms. I started gaining weight and I couldn't understand it because I hadn't changed anything. The shape of my body changed. I've never put on weight really around my stomach area, and I started putting weight on around my stomach area and finding it harder and harder to lose it. One, because I haven't changed my diet and I really should probably, but also because I just can't be asked to exercise. I do force myself to go for walks and I do play netball. But anyway, that's beside the point. So eventually I found this GP, this female GP who was in perimenopause herself. And she was really helpful. But unfortunately with GPs, they can only spend a very small amount of time with you. There's very few tests you can do. She did do some blood work and she said, yeah, it looks like you're on perimenopause, but it's not conclusive, the blood work. And I just wasn't doing well on the HRT that she put me on. And this, again, carried on maybe for another 2 years, trying to go on and off it and just having these terrible anxiety attacks and not feeling so good and just, and then eventually, somebody referred me to a place called the Rafa Centre in Perth, and I went there. Also, initially it wasn't great, but then I found Dr. Catherine Lambert, and she was really great. She used a very scientific approach to me. So loads of questions, did a load of blood work, and then she put me on what she thought was, what would help. And what was so great about that was it was compounded HRT, so they could be very specific about how much progesterone and how much estrogen you get. So just working with her and playing with those levels, we eventually got that right. And then also, I eventually went to my psychiatrist, and I think again, I'd been complaining about anxiety for 2 years. I said, I'm actually tired of waiting. I need to go on something to help me with this. And I was put on Desven, Desven, and that has also helped a lot. So I'm on HRT, I'm on Desven. I've also recently gone on to testosterone to help with a few things because my fatigue is still pretty bad, my lack of energy, and lack of sex drive, which I think a lot of women have during perimenopause. So I can't tell you how that's going, but I will when that gets resolved. I must say there were times I could have walked out of my marriage, to be honest. I could have walked out on my job and made some really bad decisions during that time, because the way you feel it's quite powerful. It's really strong. Like you feel you need to get away, but it's almost like yourself you need to get away from. You think getting away from your marriage or your family or your job or your house, whatever, you think that's what's going to help, but it's not, because what you really want is to get away from yourself, because you lose yourself. You don't know who you are anymore. You're not the same person. You don't have the same thoughts and feelings. You don't feel the same when you with your friends or when you do your activities. So you really become almost like a shell of yourself, and it's very hard to navigate your way back. And to be honest, I haven't navigated my way back, but I'm really glad, because I've navigated my way forward to a new person, and I'm very happy with who I am. So during that time, because I had so little energy, and my rage was intense, like intense rage. Like I would be asked the smallest question, and I would rage into, how can you ask that stupid fucking question? I'm so tired of these stupid fucking questions. So yeah, anyway, going back. So because of that, that very short temper, that lack of energy, and that need to really conserve yourself, I went on a big mission to work out in my life what I needed and what I didn't need. And I literally got rid of anything that drained me or stole from me, and I kept the things that helped build me. So the friendships that are great for me, that help me feel fulfilled and good, and that I also want to help them feel fulfilled and great. And then also my job, I'm so glad I didn't walk away from that, because I love my job. But also saying no a lot more to things I don't want to do. I started looking for opportunities for fun. It's like I've got to bring fun back into my life. That's what I loved as a kid. Like I loved fun. I'm a very excitable person. I love Christmas, I love Easter, I love any celebration. So looking for things to do that were fun. So I started rollerblading again. I started doing activities where I didn't know what they were. So for example, we're going to play pickleball on Monday night. I've never played pickleball. I don't even know what it is, but like I just want that experience. And we played paddleboard, and we've done a lot of things where I say we, because it's either me and my husband, or me and family friends, or me and just friends. So I've just started looking for fun as much as I can, and also doing a lot more meditation, doing journaling, chatting to friends, chatting to people. I started a TikTok channel to talk about this, and that's done really, really well. And so many women are also getting into the conversation and saying they didn't know about it, or they're so glad they found me because they've had these experiences and these symptoms and they can't find help. So I've just tried a lot of things to help myself. So what I would say in all of this, so first of all, I was 38ish when I started. I'm now 46. Always forget how old I am. I'm now 46. So that is that's a long time to go on a journey of self-discovery and sort of, I suppose, fall down a hole first and then climb back and then do the whole self-discovery thing. But it's really been worth it. It's been so worth it. Obviously the darkest hour is just before dawn. Obviously going through all of that and having those negative experiences obviously make this time and this experience seem a lot better, but also having to remove things from my life I didn't need and didn't want, and start to look for opportunities to have fun and have a conversation and engage with people and really connect has also been, like life-changing. So I'm really glad I went through that experience. I do wish I'd known more about perimenopause. I do wish the doctors had picked that up sooner, but it's just the way it is. It's just the way life is. I entered perimenopause earlier than other women. I understand why it wasn't picked up. So I'm just enjoying now and looking to the future. I'm on YouTube at the moment, and I'm making this video because I do want to continue this conversation, and I want to continue sharing my experiences and sharing things that have helped me and other women that I've spoken to, other women that are connecting with me. So if you're interested and you're having a similar experience, subscribe, and whatever I find and I share in here, maybe you can learn something. I'm also keen to hear from you and anyone who's willing to share, to help sort of broaden the story and connect with more people. So that's my story. I've probably left out a whole lot of shit, but probably would have bored you if I carried on chatting any longer.